I'm joined all the way from Plymouth, not Portsmouth. Lewis Breed. Mate, I always get Plymouth and Portsmouth mixed up, but you're back in the UK, so over from Benoos Gym in Dubai. So when did you come back, mate?
Sorry?
When did you come back?
I came back about 3 weeks ago to see the family, and not only that, my coach lives here, so he can see me daily in person over the last few weeks of the prep to make sure everything is on point. So I've been here for the last few weeks. So
how long were you away for over there? Because how long?
Well, initially at the beginning of the year, I did 3.5 months. Mm-hmm. Then I came back for a month, and then I went back out for 6 or 7 weeks.
Okay.
And then just came back home for the last few weeks. So yeah.
What was it? Because just remind us how many kids you got.
Between me and my partner, we have 6.
So you got 6 kids, mate. What was that like? You know, because you're a very hands-on, you're a good parent. You know, we spoke about your family many times. And what was that like being away and coming back and seeing them? What was that? What was it like?
It was tough being away. It was very. My partner, she did surprise me halfway through the off season, and she brought all 6 of them out.
That's right.
Which was amazing. But it was tough being away from. But I'm always very excited to get back and see them, and obviously spend some time with them. So yeah, it was tough, but there was a reason behind it all, as we know, and I'd like to think it's paid off, and hopefully that will show.
Well, obviously, the reason I've got you on really is because we had you only on, 2 or 3 months ago. It's you posted that update video, and it was only about 8 seconds long. And yes. I was just like, holy shit, because I went back to the graphic we posted when you were on the show, and you said, I'm coming back 20 pounds heavier, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, holy shit, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Yeah.
No, we are going to be, a fair amount heavier, at least 15 pounds than we were last time. Obviously, still aiming to bring top-notch condition, but the off-season definitely fared well for me. It's been very productive, and I'd like to think my package is much improved from last year.
I was looking at that. The thing is, you showed just enough to get people interested, but not enough where it would spoil the surprise for next week in Tampa.
Yeah,
I was like, this is a second too long, or a second longer, or whatever. It would have spoiled the surprise, and it was zoomed in enough. Just because I zoomed in, I was at the gym today. I was actually showing the guy, and he said, "Who are you interviewing tonight, Giles?" And I said, "I'll show." So I showed him the video. I said, "You got to zoom in a little bit." I said, "Look at the shoulders, look at the legs." I said, his condition's good. I said he's really delivered.
Yeah. No, I'm. You're never fully confident. I think as a bodybuilder, you always want more, but I am quietly confident in how I look, what I've brought, and I'm excited to showcase it next week. Yeah. Definitely.
So the plan. When was the last time you competed? Was it Prague?
It was last year we did Spain, Romania, and Prague, wasn't it? It was those 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and you did really well. You got, what was it, 8th? You were, was it 8th or 9th in all 3 shows?
7th in Spain was the best I did. I got 7th there. So obviously nailing that top 5 spot was from last year was the goal this year. And I'm hoping, I've made improvements enough to definitely stand out on stage and, catch the judge's eye and, let my physique do the rest.
So the first show of the season will be Tampa next week. And then, because Texas is the week after, what are you going to do? Are you going to fly back or are you going to stay out there?
Well, Texas is 2 weeks after, actually.
Okay.
But no, I'm staying there.
Okay.
So I'll be there for just over 3 weeks. I'll fly on Monday. So I'll be there just under a week before the Tampa show. And then I'll stay in Tampa for a week and then fly down to Texas a week before that one.
Are you excited?
Very, very much so. My coach is flying with me on Monday. My partner and my little one are flying towards the end of the week, so they'll be there to support me as well. But this prep has gone, flawlessly. It couldn't have gone any better. It's been nice and smooth, no issues, no hurdles, nice and steady. We don't have to do anything drastic to sort of bring the condition in. It's just sort of moved along nicely.
Do you think you could have achieved what you've achieved right now being at home?
if I'm honest, no, I don't think so. You know, and when I'm home, I'm a dad. You know what I mean? That takes over. So I do a lot with the children. And my expenditure is quite high, and I'm somebody who needs a lot of food in order to grow, in order to recover.
Yeah.
So when I was out in Dubai, I did nothing. I ate, I slept, and I trained. I ate, I slept, and I didn't really leave my apartment. I just literally stayed there to eat and train. So my recovery was fantastic. So that played a huge part in being able to, because the off season technically was only 3.5 months where we really pushed up. So it's not a great deal of time, but so to be able to, what's going to be, you know, a good stone of muscle at least in that time, goes to show that it's definitely benefited.
Was Brandon Curry a factor in you going out to Banus Gym in Dubai? Because obviously in 2016 he was pretty much last call out, last place at the Olympia. Asked if he was dropping down to 212. I mean, he was dead last. I was there. 3 years later, wins the freaking Olympia. I mean, and obviously what he did from 2017 onwards was fly out to Kuwait, wasn't it? It was Kuwait, actually, not Dubai. Because everyone kind of splits between the two places. And obviously, you know, seeing that happen for him and what it did for him, did that play a part in you doing what you did?
It did massively. You know, myself and my partner, we would talk about it. Oh, you need to do a Brandon Curry. You need to go away.
A Brandon Curry.
It was a thing. It was really a and again, he's a family man. He's got kids. So, and he still, you know, went away from them. So I could sort of, you know, relate myself to that. But yeah, we used to joke about it. Oh, you need to go away. You need to do a Brandon Curry. You need to go away for 6 months, come back massive. And so, yeah, it definitely was a factor because the change he made in that short period of time, being able to put the training first was just phenomenal. So, you know, that was the goal this year. And I'm excited to showcase it next week.
Going back to Brandon, it makes you realise what a big step that was for him because no one had really done that. And I remember he came in for some criticism. And I've spoke to Brandon and Brandy about it. And like, it was Brandy the one, because he didn't want to go. And she was like, no, this is what you need to do. Your coach has said to you, you know, you've just come last place in the Olympia, but he's saying to you now that if he trains you, he'll make you Mr. Olympia. Like there's someone who has that much faith in you. I think you need to maybe explore this, you know, and because it was at the point where he was ready to walk away from bodybuilding. You weren't even at that point because it was like, you know, so it's almost like you've seen somebody make that sacrifice. You've seen how it could pay off. Yeah. And now, you know, you're coming back and it's like you've duplicated, basically replicated what he achieved, really. It's just you haven't got the Olympia title yet. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's completely true. And it just shows when, you know, bodybuilding is, you know, it has to be all about you and everything has to be right for you. And that's always going to be difficult when you're in an environment with family. Because naturally you're going to be a dad, things like that are going to take over. So yeah, to see the progress of him and a few others since him who have done a similar sort of thing. Yeah. It just goes to show that if you put yourself in that environment, you know, I know I've got the work ethic, and the commitment and dedication, but if you've got everything around you, your surroundings perfect, there's, you know, it goes to show you can make, you know, vast improvements.
Was there times when you really struggled, you know, being away from the family? And I mean, because you said you're like you're in this routine and it's the same thing. It's Groundhog Day every single day. And, you know, you can see your body working, it's changing. You know, was there days when you really like almost doubted your decision?
Probably never doubted my decision, but there were days where I really struggled. You know, I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to be with the family. And it was Holly, my partner, that said, no, you're there for a reason. Yeah. It's look at the weight you've gained. Look at how much you're changing. You know what I mean? It's in the grand scheme of things, it's only a short space of time you're away from the kids. But think about what this could get you and what you could achieve from it. You know, so it was difficult, but I never really doubted the decision. And now as I've got leaner, obviously as you get leaner, you notice those changes more, don't you? Yeah. You know. And as I've got leaner, you know, I can see that, and obviously stepping on the scales, you know what I mean? You can see the progress you've made. So, no, I'm glad we made that decision.
And doesn't it show you the importance of having a supportive partner?
Oh,
because you and Brandon, Brandon didn't want to go initially. You're having days when you're like, I just want to come home. I miss you guys. And maybe you felt maybe a bit of guilt or whatever those days when these kinds of negative emotions and these doubts. I mean, obviously they're going to run through your head. They're gonna, you've got responsibilities, but then your wife is saying, no, you're there for a reason. Stick to it. Follow it through. I mean, that shows you what a team effort bodybuilding actually really is.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in that. You know what I mean? To be as good as you want to be at something, it is a team effort. That's with my partner, and also with your coach and things like that. It's definitely a team effort to get the best out of what you're trying to achieve.
So how do you think your physique's improved over last year? Because I saw you in Prague, I saw you in Romania. I've seen you on stage a few times, and I think the good thing last year was that you did 3 shows in a row and they were very consistent showings. Do you know what I mean? You weren't like, I've seen like that Kokeni, Kokeni Bella, in Prague he was 3rd, and then he did a show in Spain. I think he dropped like 15th, and it's like, it must really mess with your head. But if you do 3 shows in Europe, and you may be going up against a lot of the same guys, at least you're not just holding your positioning, but also like your conditioning, and you're managing to hit it, several times in a row. Yeah.
So I'm not, because we did 3 back-to-back, I'm confident that the 2 shows we're doing in America, at least, that we can bring, just as good a package at both shows, because we've had that experience before, and obviously my coach is going to be there with me, looking at me every single day. So I'm confident with being able to peak twice at both shows.
Okay, this is a difficult question, but like, given that we've had a couple of shows where there's been smaller lineups, weaker lineups, you've kind of chose the 2 shows, mate, where everyone's going for that one, and they're all bringing their A game. You got Andrew Jack, you got Hunter Labrada, you got Blessing, who's probably got a bit of a fire under his ass after getting. I mean, he was lucky to get 4th, and he didn't look good. He blew his condition. Let's be honest. You've got some, you got some good names coming into the show, whereas you could have maybe, like, if you'd have known, with hindsight being a valuable thing, you could have jumped in, some of the other shows where there was only 6 or 8. Are you regretting that now? Or?
Shows, the last few shows, a couple in America. Obviously, there's the Spain one this weekend. The depth of the lineups are not that great, and my partner will look at it, or my coach will look at it, and would be like, "Oh, we could have done really well at that one. Could have done really well at that one." But it is what it is, As long as I can see massive progress in my physique, as long as I can showcase it to the judges, and the judges notice me, and if I can get inside that first call out, obviously that's a massive goal for me this year. Obviously, it's frustrating when you look at those other shows, because you think, could have done really well there.
Oh, bollocks.
It's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah. And because normally, like, I've never seen this before, where normally there's such a consistent level of numbers of competitors, standard of competitors, big names, new names, people coming back, and it's like there's a real, like, Chicago. I mean, the difference between Chicago and Tampa and Texas is going to be, like, I've never seen it quite a disparity. I don't, and I have no explanation why. The Chicago show, was it? There was one other as well, which was quite a small number as well. Vancouver.
Yeah, the Vancouver show. Yeah, and like, in terms of big names, there weren't any in those shows. If I knew that beforehand, I probably would have tried it in those shows. But you don't, do you? The lineups are never sort of announced to sort of last minute. Obviously, you always have a set plan. I wouldn't have quite been ready for the likes of Chicago and Vancouver, because obviously our aim was these ones. But it is what it is. I'm still excited to step on, and it's going to be good to step on stage next to the likes of Hunter.
And thing is, just say first call out, you, Andrew Jacks, Hunter, a sharper Blessing, say, and who else is doing the show? I'm just if you can
you've got John De La Rosa's doing Tampa,
De La Rosa. So if you
Andrew's not doing Tampa though; he's only doing Texas.
Oh, okay. So just say you get a call out, the final call out, and it's just you and Hunter, and on a couple of shots you're taking him. Do you know what I mean? Because like you're gonna compare well because you're both going to be big. You're both going to be conditioned. You know, he's not going to blow you off the stage with conditioning or size. That's not going to happen. So you know, if you take him in a few shots, and I mean, just say you beat him. Do you know what I mean? It's better for that to happen than you go and either win or place very well in a show that, you know, was a weak lineup. It's like, oh, well, yeah, he may have won. Lewis may have won that show, but there was nobody in it.
Yeah, totally. I agree. At the end of the day, everybody's ultimate goal is to get to the Olympia. And if you're standing on stage next to Hunter, you know that man has placed. Obviously, he didn't do quite as well last year, but the year before, what was he? 5th, 6th at the Olympia?
He's been 8th, 4th, 7th.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're giving that guy a run for his money, and you know he is top 10 in the world, top 6, good day, then that's a win in itself.
Yep.
You know, I can be competitive up against one of the best in the world.
And the thing is, if you qualify for the Olympia, you're only going to have to go up against the likes of him at the Olympia. So you may as well chase the competition rather than run away from it.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. Yeah. Believer in that. It would be fantastic to do a smaller show and win and qualify for the O that way. Of course it would, because that's the end goal, is qualifying for the O. But I'm not one to, you know, avoid competition and, you know, directly pick an easy show. I'm not about that. So I'm excited to step on stage next to the likes of Hunter.
So we've got a lot of shows in Europe, mate. We've got Spain this weekend, the big man weekend. We know we had Portugal a few weeks ago. You know, you're over this side of the world. You're in the UK at the moment. Why didn't you jump in some of the European shows?
Well, I did 3 European shows last year.
Ah, okay.
And obviously, I've always wanted to compete stateside.
Yeah.
You know, still is the mecca of bodybuilding, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I always wanted to compete there. I'd like to think they like my physique over there, you know, because sometimes it's judged slightly differently, European shows, American shows. So I'd like to think my physique will go down quite well over there. And that's the pinnacle, isn't it? America is the mecca of bodybuilding. So that's where you want to compete.
I think you've timed this well though, because I mean, from what I've seen in that few seconds of that progress video, like anyone can see that knows your physique can see that you've clearly improved. You've clearly got better. So maybe if you'd have done an American show before, it would have been not a bit of a wasted trip, but it would have been a bit of a harsh lesson for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you were a solid second call out guy, you know, those last 3 shows in Europe last year. Now you're looking to move up into that first call out, and you're going after the big names like the Hunters and the De La Rosa and guys like that. So, you know, and if you do really, really well and you beat them, do you know what I mean? Like I say, you beat De La Rosa or Hunter, you know, it's achievable, you know, because we don't know what this new physique's going to look like. You might pull a Nick Walker, mate. Seriously. No, I'm serious, because I've seen you, man. I remember 2011 when you came 3rd in the British in the heavyweights. I was like, holy shit. I mean, you know, you could see you had so much potential. And I think finally you're starting to, you've cracked the code, you know? Yeah.
No, I definitely think I'm impressed with the improvements that I've made. And I'm interested to see how I fare next to Hunter, next to those guys, you know, because, they are the pinnacle. So I am quite excited to stand next to them, stand toe to toe, and be like, you know what, I'm doing all right.
I bet you 50 quid you beat Blessing.
Right, okay.
What?
Yeah.
Look up, she's telling me off now. Well, did you see the shit he gave me at the Olympia? I said, Jay Cutler said to me the next day, he said, Giles, he saw him at the, me and Ronnie, dropping names now, showing off. I was at the hotel, I was with Ronnie, we just done a podcast together. And Jay came over and he says, hey, Giles, he says, I saw your interviews last night, you're live at the Meet the Olympians. He says, he laughed, he says, I thought Blessing was going to kill you. I was like, he was playing his boogeyman persona, you know?
Yeah.
I walked up and I saw the shades and I saw the cameraman with him and I thought, oh no, here we go. This is going to be interesting. So I had to interview him. No, I think you'll beat him. I'm interested to see how you'll look next to De La Rosa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting matchup, because I'd say I think that's going to be a very, very tight one between you two. And I really hope we get to see you like really directly standing right next to Hunter in that first call out, because I think I think because he's really the kind of, I saw that progress video posted today, and actually it's the first time I've really been impressed by Hunter.
Yeah. No, I saw the latest one. Was that today he put up?
Yeah.
No, he does look impressive. I think, I don't think he's going to out-condition me.
No, he
won't. Fantastic structure and shape, the way he flares in his front and rear double. No, I think thickness from the side, I think I could probably match him as well. But, until you're toe-to-toe with these guys, one picture and one video, it means nothing until you're stood next to each other, doesn't it?
See, that's why I think it takes balls to do what you've done. Go for a show like this, go to America. You chose 2 really tough shows there. I think you've done a really good thing because, like I said, if you really, really kick ass in this show, you're going to have the right eyes on you.
Yeah. And that's what I'd like. I'd like to make a statement, make a name for myself within the sport.
Yeah.
And you're only going to do that when you stand toe to toe with these guys and they go, Jesus, this is good, so that's the goal, that's the aim. And we'll see how things unfold.
So how was your physique improved from, say, Prague last year?
Well, like I said, we're going to be quite a lot heavier on the scales. Obviously, it's not all about scale weight, but provide good indication that you have made masses of progress.
Sorry to interrupt. Your shoulders look ridiculous.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
freaking hell! Seriously, wow! I was like, wow, big and stripy.
Yeah, I think I've made improvements everywhere.
Yeah.
Legs, especially from the rear, like hamstring. Thickness through my upper chest, delts, arms have come up a little bit. So I think I have made progress sort of everywhere rather than in a sort of specific area, which hopefully is just going to, improve my overall look.
You kept the waist nice and small?
Yeah, waist, if I'm honest, I feel it's tighter this year than it was last year.
Good. Good.
I've done a lot of sort of not like training abs, but ab control vacuums and things like that.
Yeah. No, because hang on, you do a front double bicep and you do the vacuum, don't you?
Yeah. Just to be able to control that that midsection that little bit better. So that's definitely helped. I've got much more. Yeah, whether it's smaller, I don't know, but I've got much more control over the midsection. So obviously the illusion, being able to control it better, is obviously with the added muscle everywhere else, should come across well on stage.
Because that front double bicep, when you hit that pose, your waist literally just disappears, completely disappears.
Yeah.
Because that's the first pose you hit, the first compulsory. It's like you get lots of big, chunky, thick guys like yourself, but with condition, and then they got these kind of like they're straight up and down in the waist. It's like it can't, but your waist comes down right to the obliques, tiny little waist, it looks like bloody 29 inches. And
that's been a big improvement shot for me is the front double, because I think it slightly let me down last year. And because it's the first shot people see, that's not always a good thing. But I think being able the muscle I have added and being able to control that midsection better, that first shot is going to be a bit more of a whoa to the judges, rather than not be so great and then you're trying to crawl back on your other poses. But that first initial, statement to the judges is everything, isn't it?
Yeah. You said, because Milos is in this episode, in this one with you now, and you said Milos reached out to you and complimented you.
He did, a couple of days ago. He just said, how incredible my condition was.
Yeah.
I think he used the words, "You're going to shock the world."
Wow, from Milos.
Which to come from someone like Milos.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be screenshotting the hell out of that, mate.
He even said, maybe you should jump on Spain this weekend. You could win that one.
Yeah.
And we thought about it, but this was literally Thursday night.
Right. Okay.
So unfortunately, that's not quite panned out. But no, to get that from the likes of Milos, for him to reach out and send a few messages was definitely motivating. Definitely.
And he's the sort of person who does that genuinely. He will, because he's first and foremost, he's a bodybuilding fan, and he will. He does that. He's told me. He said, "Look," he said, if they're not my client, he says, I just want to sometimes give props. He said, because he pays attention to all you guys. He would have, he'll know, where you're at because, obviously, he keeps tabs.
he'd been through my Instagram and he sent me a couple of different shots.
Wow, that's
just,
cool.
Just do this and just do that. So, it was really, really humbling and really nice of him to do that.
Well, I think this week there's been 3 because obviously now we've got the Olympia and there's a lot of pro shows in Texas, Tampa and Spain and these other shows coming up. And I think there's three people that blew my mind this week from the progress videos. One was Hunter's today, and I'll be honest, I've never really been blown away by Hunter. I used to think he was overrated.
Right.
But that video today, I said to Lauren, I showed it to her in the closet. No, I said, it's a walk-in closet. It's not the closet. And I said, fair. You're laughing. I said, fair. Didn't I? I said, fair play. I said, I've got to give the guy props. I said, he's really done the work. He looks incredible. Samson, which completely blew my socks off.
Which he tends to do all the time at the moment.
I don't have the words for what I saw this week on that progress video. It's actually in the hot news in this episode. And yours. And the thing is, because yours probably showed the least as well. And I was like, oh, but it was just, like I said, it was just enough,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
No, I'm excited to showcase it next week.
Have you got anything planned after Texas, or if it's?
Those 2 are my focus, but obviously you do have. There's 3 in September. You've got France, you've got Italy, you've got Spain.
Oh shit! France. Yeah.
So if I was to do something else, it would probably be the Spain show.
Yeah,
I've done it twice. So that's on the back burner.
Yeah.
But let's focus on the US shows first. Let's try and make a statement, make a name for myself, and then we'll just take it from there.
Yeah, just I guess that's a really good approach. Revisit it after these, because you got 2. Like I said, you got the traveling and you got a lot to focus on, and that's 2 big shows and 2 big challenges, 2 weeks apart. So it's kind of I think that's enough for anyone's mind to kind of tackle at one go.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Lewis, you did say 10-2, mate. I think you got some family engagement, so I'm going to let you go, mate. But thank you so much for coming on.
Me again, mate. It's been fantastic.
It's good, and I'm excited, mate, because like I said, it's obviously you're a British guy, and it's nice to see guys like yourself, doing a Brandon Curry, making that sacrifice, and to see it pay off. Because if that's an indicator of what you've been doing, then I think that sacrifice was worth it. Because I can only imagine how gut-wrenching it must be to be away, and I can't imagine. But it's so nice that it looks like it's paid off, and you've chosen 2 good shows to make an impact in. So if Milos is right, and you do shock the world, you've chosen probably 2 of the best shows to do that at.
Yeah, exactly, and that was one of the reasons behind it.
Cool. Right, mate, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go to the co-op and get some crisps. And and like I said, all the best, mate. We'll be watching on the live stream. Watch out for the power hour of myself and Rob, because we'll be doing previews of Tampa and Texas. So I'll make sure I'll tell him I've mentioned that we've spoken and everything, and to expect big things from you, mate. But no pressure. So right, okay, mate. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And when do you fly out?
Monday.
Oh, Monday. Okay. Wow. Oh, shit. So, okay. So 2 days. So, okay, yes. Cool. All right. So by the time people watch this, you'll be out in Tampa.
Yes.
Yeah. Watch out for the crocodiles. No, seriously. They're everywhere. Seriously. Like there's the hotel I stayed at. There's a big lake outside, and there's signs, and it says, don't go any further because there's crocs in them. Is it crocs or gators they have there? Gators, sorry. There's gators. No, seriously, it's like, you don't want to get your bloody leg chewed off, before you go on stage, So kind of put a bit of dampener on things, so. Right, okay, let's go. Right, okay then, Lewis, like I said, safe journey, mate, and we'll be watching.
Yes, brilliant. Thank you.
All right, cheers, Lewis. Take care, mate.
Bye.